Welcome to the after party. Welcome to the after party. Did you bring some snacks and treats?
Yes, it did.
I hope you got me something to eat.
Maybe.
Welcome to the after party. Coming to the after party.
Right now.
I've been waiting here all day to act like a fool this way. Welcome to the after party. Join us in the after party.
Right now.
Oh, chocolate and dabbing, maybe some microphone dabbing at the after party.
With DJ Airrick, Pete.
What are you laughing about? Are you going to say something?
Oh, no, Eric sent me a message saying balls. So, yeah.
I did.
Just caught me off guard. It's just something Eric wouldn't say.
Balls and eggplants. What we did there.
No, you must have sent that to someone else. I didn't get that on my end. Yeah, I just got balls.
What's up, everybody? Hello, South Texas Shark. Robert Blake in the house. Lance is here. I need a recording contract. I guess not, because that's apparently that song is the Smallville theme song. If you change it up, people get mad. So we just went back to that.
Well, I don't know if I think it's changing it up. I think maybe a remix wouldn't be too bad. As I said, I think a lot of people are crying out for the Thug Rap remix, which I've heard a tease of it. It's violent. That's all I can say.
There's actually an extended version of that with like a rap on it. There is an extended version.
Yeah, but that's shit. That's why it's not.
Have you ever heard the other one?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you played it on either here or maybe a Twitch stream or something. I know I've heard it.
I don't really remember doing that. No.
It involves flossing and chalking and a variety of things.
Oh, does it? I don't truly remember that. It feels completely out of what is it? Character for me, I guess.
To what? Talk shit.
Yeah. I don't do that. What's up, Jay Hamilton? Hello, Lane Pennington. How are you? Is it just me or does Paige look a bit different? I mean, I don't know. Maybe
you know when I was trying to make you think I was trying to make you think I froze, but I couldn't. I guess I'm not good at being a statue like you.
Yeah. Well, that's an inside joke because I don't think you've uploaded that. Wait, was that one of the videos you already uploaded, or is that the
you do it all the time? Whenever you do a video, you play musical statues. I'm like,
do I? Is that what I do? We got a few topics today. It's really weird because they blessed us with some drama earlier in the week, so we do have some stuff to talk about. But Paigey did a video updating like his format. We did some fun stuff this week. I don't know what the release schedule is because I forgot already. But he's got some stuff coming out that we participated in. It's going to be a lot of fun. Also, if you're a Team Airrick member, go over to the community tab. There's a poll for a topic for next week's after party.
A poll.
If you're a Team Airrick member. I posted it up and then I was like, oh, I hope they don't think it's going to be this week because of the way I worded it, but it's not. It's going to be next week because I didn't have a chance to put it together for this week. But yeah, by the way, the video that I did that I was like, oh, I haven't had any problems with it yet. The 5-hour video.
Oh yeah. Unabomber. Is that the Revenge of the Unabomber? Or?
Some stuff got clipped on it. Like some stuff got hit on it. So now I have to go through and like remove it. And here's the issue. I don't know if anybody who makes the YouTube content page, I don't know if you've ever done this before or not, but when you get hit with something and they go, oh, you can take this out. Like you can remove it. YouTube will take it out for you. Like you can have the copyright system just remove whatever it is that is copyrighted. And for that particular video, I don't mind them removing it because I don't think it matters too much. Like I don't think it's going to take away from what the video is or whatever. But the problem is it takes a long time. If it's a lot of like small pieces, it takes a long time. One of the things was I posted this on my community tab. Blake McNeely, who does the Flash music.
Yep.
I got hit for that. And it was like 14 seconds of a 5-hour stream or 5-hour video. And it was like, we're going to take all of the ad revenue, which is dumb anyway. Like it's 14 seconds out of 5 hours. That was dumb. But the thing that really bothered me was it's also blocked in like 5 countries. And I'm like, well, I can't fucking like, what am I supposed to do with that? Like the ad revenue is one thing, but blocking it in countries, that means I can't even show it to like, what's the point?
Yeah.
So now I have to go in and remove that because that particular part is a part of the segment that matters because it was from the clip. Let me tell you where it came from. It was when we were talking about, remember over on Twitch, I guess it was like right around the time of the week of the Flash finale. And somebody did a like Flash finale fixed video where they changed the color.
Oh, was that fucking awful video with the villains and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
There was 14 seconds of the Flash theme in there, and that's what caused the whole video to get hit. So there we go. So yeah, so that's going to take a while because that one I have to actually like re-edit the video, and it's a 5-hour video. So that's not going to be fun at all. I think I'm just going to take it out completely because I can't be bothered. I left it in there because I thought it was funny because it was so awful, and you and I were just fucking over it, and we were telling everybody watching like, why the fuck are we watching this? It's awful.
Was that the bit where you smashed the chair, or was that another one?
No, I think it was another one. But the thing was, somebody I can't remember who it was. They paid like $5 for us to watch it, but I was like, oh god, this is painful. This is bad. But anyway, we got a few topics today. We're going to talk a little bit about the strike. You know, whether or not they fixed anything, because I know they went back to the table. Newsflash, not really. So we're going to talk about that and what that might mean. We're also going to talk about some of the comments made by we talked about this a little bit on Twitch about Stephen Amell drama. We're going to reiterate that today because there's some updates to that apparently with the people involved with Arrow. But some other people in Hollywood are now saying comments that are very reminiscent of what he said.
Oh, shocker. It's almost like he wasn't the only one. It's almost like probably anyone that was working probably agrees with him.
Well, that's the thing is that we're going to look, we got a couple of examples we're going to show and we'll see.
It's almost like don't listen to Twitter.
Yeah. Well, you were one of the people that said that if this is...
I was one of the few that was like, why are people like so angry?
Yeah.
I was sort of confused because most people that are currently working are going to agree with him.
Yeah.
And now you're seeing more and more come out, and it's willingly as well. Like that. I know the one you're talking about that came out, was it last night?
Well, we have the Zachary Levi one, and then we also have Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis. That's it. I don't know who was I going to say. I was going to say someone else.
However, they're obviously people in PR have made them confirm what they meant with their statements because both of them have released updates. We'll read those too about like clarifying what they meant by their comments. And
yeah,
so we'll go ahead and get into that here. And so this one here is the Stephen Amell stuff. And what I want to talk about here is essentially we're not going to go over all the different videos and everything. We're going to say exactly what he said, and then we'll talk about the response to it. But Stephen Amell came out, and this was at both, I believe one of them was in a Vancouver convention with David Ramsey, which nobody's really talking about that one. And then there's the advertising that he did for Heels that ended up on Instagram, got removed. And the big one was the stuff at GalaxyCon in North Carolina, where he basically said that it was frustrating, which I agree. I think frustrating was a good word. I think frustrating is a word that everybody sort of understands. You know what I mean? Like everybody involved with this. Think about it. Like you're having to strike because the union has decided to strike and you want to support your union, but you are frustrated because it is a problem for a lot of people. But the frustration also falls on the ends of not making enough money. You know what I mean? Like a lot of these people are not making enough money for healthcare. They're frustrated because they're not making enough money to pay their apartment, pay for their apartments or pay for their houses or their cars or whatever it could be. So I think frustration is a word that I think everybody sort of understands, right? Like I would you agree with that? I mean,
it's going to be frustrating across the board. Like that's the whole point of this thing. Like that's the whole point of the whole strike is that there's frustrations abroad from every angle, whether it's the guilds or even the studios as well, because they're like, well, shit, we're losing money. Like, if we do this, we're going to lose money. But then you got to also go with the actual, you're always going to go for the little guy in this instance. which is
because the thing about it is we went over it before, is that this isn't really about like the mid-range to the high-end actors, the ones that are leads on TV shows or the movie stars or whatever. This is about,
it's for like the person that serves them coffee in a scene or something like that.
Yeah, because those are the actors that don't really get what they deserve in terms of pay, because again, it's a hustle job. Have you ever had a hustle job where you basically, it's been like I'm working as much as I can to sort of
yeah, fucking hate what it was. It sucked. This was when I was like 21, and it was just I'd been moved down to like the company I was with moved down, like I'd do part-time for like 2 months. So my hustle job, just to go back to make enough or make close to the money I was making full time, was lawn mowing. Oh god, in the hot Australian sun, I felt like vomiting at the end of every day. You don't understand how shit it was. And it was like lawn mowing and like just like some landscaping stuff.
Yeah, I'm curious in the chat if anybody's had a hustle job. What I mean by a hustle job is a job that like it's everything you do is a one-time payment. Like you go in, you do it, you get paid for it, and that's all it is. There's not a regular paycheck or anything like that. I remember when I was little, and this is a funny one. There was a store near our house that wasn't really a Dollar Tree or like the dollar store or whatever, the 1 pound store, whatever you want to call it. But what were you gonna say?
Well, I call it a $2 shop. We call it a $2 shop here in Australia.
Well, back when I was little, they knew that I was an artist because I went in there all the time and purchased like sketchbooks and pencils and stuff like that. So they every couple of months they did like an advertisement to go out, like flyers they would print up and put around different places and stuff. This is back before the internet was like a thing, so you had to actually physically go places and put in flyers and stuff. And I would draw a character for the shop. I made a superhero for the shop that they printed on like different stuff. And so it was like a little hustle job for me when I was like 12, 13 years old. I would basically get paid like this one payment for this character, and I'd save up the money to go get something that I love or whatever. So, but the reality is that we're talking about like when we were younger. These are people that are like adults. These are people that are like have families and stuff, and so they're doing this hustle job and acting because they love what they're doing. And that's what this whole thing's about. It's really essentially about people trying to make ends meet at the end of the day. And Stephen Amell made the comments. He said it was frustrating. He said that it was reductive, myopic, all these other things. And he says, understandably, there's been a lot of reaction to the comments I made this weekend about our strike. To ensure there's no misunderstanding about my thoughts and intentions, I'm providing what I actually said with clarity, context. And this was an Instagram post. And I don't think the Instagram post did him any favors, to be honest. I don't think it really did anything. It just sort of doubled down on what he was already saying. All it was, it felt to me like his public relations people were like, you need to say something else. And so he did. But also he reiterated that he supported the union. You know what I mean? And so that was important as well. I also want to point out, it seems to me right now that StreamYard's chat is frozen for me.
I was going to say this is frozen. Then I had a look on the actual YouTube.
Yeah, it's frozen for me. I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know, but I have my other screen open, so if I see any super chats or anything, I'll read them out over there. I'm not sure what's going on with StreamYard. I just wanted to point that out.
Welcome to StreamYard, yeah.
I know. Come on. Get it together, StreamYard. But he did say here that sound bites can be taken out of context. I don't think they were. We saw the video. It's pretty obvious what he was saying. And I stand with them. I do not support striking. I think it's a reductive negotiating tactic. I find it incredibly frustrating. He goes, I support my union. This doesn't need much clarity. Of course, I don't like striking. Nobody does, but we have to do. And one of the things I want to remind everybody is that this wasn't just about this, because this was the comment that kind of got him in trouble or whatever. But I think the bigger problem is that he was promoting heels on Instagram as well. For me, I get the frustration with the strike stuff, but I feel like that was probably where I think a lot of people had an issue with it, especially people in the industry, because everybody wants to promote their product. Everybody wants to promote what they're doing. And when you have one or two people that are like, I'm just going to do it anyway. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, I think that was the thing that came out is, I think he might have tried to explain. I can't remember where it was, but I think I saw him try and do it. Where he sort of he didn't name them, but he like referenced like Barbie, Oppenheimer, and then like some of those things like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They would have all rushed in to quickly do the promotion before the strike, and then Blue Beetle like all those different things.
I think Blue Beetle is going to be one of the last movies where they actually had a chance to record like promos before.
There might be some just under. They might have done them maybe just in case. Like I'm sure there's like maybe some movies in September or October. But
I don't think Dune though. I don't think Dune because Dune is one of the movies they're talking about like pushing.
Yeah, probably not. So. But like I think anything up to like September and maybe even October, they might have done at least some sort of like that recorded stuff in advance. But it's just like I think even the SAG people said like I don't know if they specifically mentioned about this, but I think they were just talking about things as a whole. Is that I think they were like talking about like they wish they gave more notice or something like that, or like maybe some people got notice and some people didn't.
Yeah, I can't pull up comments right now because StreamYard's acting up. But Lone Wolf, you said I don't understand why specifically promoting is bad, and it's not that it's bad; it's just against their rules. Like when they're striking, you're not supposed to do it.
I think the rules are a bit weird in regards to that because they're also saying that people should go to the theaters and support the things. Mm-hmm. So I don't understand like the where the line's drawn where it's telling people to go watch the movies, but then like here's my thing. I think it should be allowed. Logically, I think most people would agree with this that if you're like someone that's like the lead of it, if you want to promote it so people will go watch it, because also SAG's telling people to go do that, like watch the things and support and make it clear that this is why writers and actors are important. But they shouldn't be able to work with the studio. So Stephen Amell can't go into whoever handles heels.
So you mean like what he was doing, like just making his own Instagram post, that should be okay, but like not any official studio.
If it was allowed, that would be. I think that's like a suitable thing. But it'd be like him going, or like if like the Blue Beetle cast went into Warner Brothers and sat there and did their stuff there. That should not be allowed because you're fighting against the studios, so you wouldn't want to work with them in that case. But if you just post an Instagram post saying this is out today, blah blah blah,
right?
Like that to me that lines up with what SAG's saying. When they're like, go watch the stuff.
I get the idea of not working, like not going and doing any projects or not reading any scripts or anything like that. I totally understand that. I don't understand the promoting thing because it's a finite amount. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're promoting something that you've already made that's getting ready to come out, it's not like you're going to be doing that for the next 5 years. You get that one.
Well, anything. The funny thing, that's sort of like the question mark around is like the whole fight is like residual stuff, but now the stuff's going to get less views.
Yeah. The other thing is that
But the thing is that that's the rules at the moment, so you should have to follow that.
Right. No, that's
we can question the rules, but the rules are the rules. So like Stephen Amell did break the rules there, so you have to face the.
That's what I was about to say. Like ultimately,
but I can understand where he's probably sitting there going like, I can understand this rule, but this rule to me seems a bit illogical. So
yeah, absolutely. So it goes on here to say, and we're going to kind of breeze through this here. It says the situation reminds me of the proverb: "The road to hell is paved with good intentions." Which apparently after reading a limited amount of commentary is a place many of you would like for me to visit. However, at least for the foreseeable future, I choose to stand with my union. He continued, when you see me on a picket line, please don't whip any hard fruit. Now, I thought this was interesting because I also saw this pop up. Now, did you see this? The Arrow Union picket?
Your mate, Guggenheim.
So do you think Stephen Amell is going to show up for this? Do you think this is something he's going to be there for?
When's that? No? Oh, this next week.
Because it would do him a lot of good to show up for this.
So is this like an advertisement for like just random people to show up as well?
I don't know. It just says Arrow Reunion Picket. The AMPTP has failed the city. Join us for a special Arrow reunion of writers, actors, and fans on the picket line with a date. And it says limited edition Arrow bucket hats will be available for purchase with the proceeds going to healthcare for industry crew members through the Union Solidarity Coalition.
Wow. Okay, here we go. Can we get Eric Road to Burbank? and it's not to get a photo with Guggenheim. It's not to whip hard fruit at Stephen Amell. It's to get one of these bucket hats. Can we get Eric Road to Burbank? Hashtag Road to Bucket Hat.
Yeah.
Hashtag Road to 2 bucket hats, because then you can send me one.
Okay. Yeah.
No,
look,
no.
That's okay. We'll see. what do you? So I think it would do him a lot of good in PR for him to show up for this. Do you think you think he's going to surprise us and he's going to be on the picket line for this? What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I think so. Like, I don't think there's any issue with him showing up. I mean,
no. I mean, what I'm saying is, do you think he will? That's what I'm asking. Do you think he will show up or not?
Maybe this is why this is happening. Why that's being advertised specifically.
I think it's 100% happening. I think what happened with him has caused a shitstorm, and
because
here's his way of sort of fixing this.
And as I said, like, I need to sneeze. You know when you can feel the sneeze and like, do I need to sneeze? And then like you start talking like the sneeze is coming, but the sneeze went away, went on. Oh wait, it's not sunny, so I can't look at the sun. You know when you look at the light to make yourself sneeze. Okay, we'll just keep talking. The thing is that like you're seeing it even with someone like Jamie Lee Curtis, who you think would be very reserved and not say something like that. Yeah. And as I said, like pretty much anyone that was a working actor would agree with him to an extent, or had anything coming out. Okay,
so let's go down to what Jamie Lee Curtis said. So Curtis said on Thursday to Variety, hopeful that we can see all sides. I'm more Switzerland. I'm not a polarized person here. I don't like the rhetoric on both sides. Any settlement means nobody's happy, so there will be a settlement. Not everyone will be happy. I don't like the them versus us. The fact that there's a them and there's a us bothers me. It's one industry, and I hope all sides can recognize the oneness of our industry. And she got a lot of pushback on that as well.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Let me guess. Hold on. Was it Twitter replies?
It was a lot of Twitter replies. Yeah, it was a lot of Twitter replies. But she goes, she actually like updated her statement here. Said I was inevitably asked about how the strike, and I made a comment about wanting to be like Switzerland. All of a sudden, the clearly desperate news cycle machine is all over me to clarify those comments. Here they are. I fully support the SAG-AFTRA strike, have volunteered making signs multiple times, and I've donated to the relief fund. I support the leadership and support our demands. I'm a rank and file union member. I am not on any negotiating committee. She goes, I believe we should look at all sides of the conflict in order to find solution and a fair and equitable settlement. Can we end this now and not turn this into some ridiculous news cycle story and get back to the table and negotiate? So
I don't, because if you go to her original statement, she's just pretty much saying that what she's giving her views on what she thinks the outcome is going to be, essentially, and she's right. That is exactly the issue is, Eric, and this is why I'm saying don't listen to Twitter and everything, because you're getting anime ball lover like 62 or whatever trying to explain what it is when they have no idea. And maybe because it's not about necessarily an actors and writers strike, it's just about a union strike in general. Union strikes, no one's ever satisfied to a higher extent come the end of it. Because if you think one side's going to give up everything to please the other, you're living in a goddamn dreamland.
Yeah.
Like, I was going to say Candyland, but to like another extent, like Candyland on like acid. Like, that's where you are. You know, in 22 Jump Street or 21 Jump Street when they take the drugs, like that. But like where Channing Tatum is, like that's where like I was gonna say what he starts singing that might get demonetized. Anyway, but that's the thing. Like, so I'm wondering, like, so if we have, okay, you can see me in frame. That's where SAG is. That's where SAG is. That's where the studios are. Obviously, SAG's probably going to go that's where their means are. It might, whatever happens, or whatever the negotiations are probably going to lean in SAG's favor, but not to that higher of extent. Like, really not. Like, because especially with what's being talked about, I just don't see it. Like, do you see in any sort of logical world where the residual stuff is really hyped up that much, that much? Because if it does, streaming dies, and they don't want these streaming services to die, except for maybe, let me see, a Peacock. That's the only one that I could see going. Well, again, I started watching Twisted Metal. That's a Peacock show, and I'm loving it. So I don't want.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I was Peacock until I started watching. I was like,
I said Peacock has a lot of good stuff. It's just a really bad streaming service. Like, it's really poorly.
Well, the UI and stuff like that.
Yeah,
or something.
Yeah, it's not good. So your boy Zachary Levi made some statements here, appearing at what happened to be Manchester Comic-Con, took place at UK last month. So why is it just showing up now? This is so weird. Levi talked about how he couldn't discuss his work on projects like Chuck, Tangled, and the two Shazam films, and he said this: I'm not allowed to talk about, this is so dumb. I'm not allowed to talk about any of my previous work. I'm not allowed to talk about movies that I may be a superhero in. I'm not allowed to talk about TV shows that I may have been a nerd who worked at Best Buy. I'm not allowed to talk about any of my animated princess movies that I was fantastic in as the best prince ever. I'm not allowed to talk about those things. And of course, the video surfaced. He goes, it's come to my attention that my offhand remark that I made in jest last weekend is being taken out of context. So let me be very clear. I fully support my union, the WGA, and the strike. I remain an outspoken critic of the exploitative system that us artists are subject to work in since I started my journey in this business 25 years ago. The strike is necessary to protect ourselves, our writers, and all those working in production who make the industry move. But we can also not forget the fans during the strike, fans that spend their money and energy traveling far distances to talk with us about our work that means so much to them. We should be able to engage. Our business exists and succeeds because of these fans, and I think it's imperative we appreciate them for their support of our careers. What do you think about that?
Well, I think he's right, especially in that last one. Like in that last one, like because that would have been like, I mean, if that was last month, then I guess that means that, like, you know,
because
pretty much everyone
keep in mind, these
conventions,
conventions, people sometimes wait months to go to these things. Meaning they
especially in like that was in England. People could have traveled from, because Manchester's in the north, so someone could be from the south of England and traveled all the way up to Manchester Comic Con,
right?
Or whatever it was called. And if that was last month, then maybe that would have been like what, like max 2 weeks after the strike started. So people would have already bought their tickets and whatever it might be. I think the past projects thing is weird where you can't touch that. Like, and because the funny thing is like a lot of that, like that directly plays into it. But also my logic around it as well is like, if you're going to a Zachary Levi panel, it's not like he's going to promote anything you probably have never seen. Like you probably watched all the stuff he's going to talk about.
Right. Because he doesn't have anything coming out right now. So
yeah, he wasn't promoting anything new. Well, I think he does, but he wasn't.
Right.
Because I know he's got like, I think he actually does have a couple of things that are coming out, but I don't think he was actually talking about any of the stuff that was coming out. It was more, why can't I talk about the stuff that like made these people fans of mine? Yeah. Right. I think it's weird. Like I think because they're allowed to go to the conventions. That's the weird thing. Like if they weren't allowed to go to the conventions, then fair enough. I think that it should be like, you can't go to the conventions, but then again, you're taking away a revenue stream because you just don't go to the conventions to do a panel. You go there to take autographs and photos, and that's where the money's made. I know it's a bit of a gray area, that whole thing. And who knows? Here's the thing, though: if this strike is actually set to go on for ages, it would not surprise me at all if they lift these rules. If people are struggling to make money, especially if it's someone that is like maybe had one big role and they aren't maybe currently working, but that's how they make their money, going to the conventions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's unfair that you're taking that revenue stream away from them.
Well, speaking of that, it looks like the negotiations yesterday did not work. They fell apart. WGA and AM. What are you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say, did you see oh, you're gonna go through the article?
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of breeze through it. Yeah, but it says
okay. I was gonna say the one reason that's sort of surprising that
can't agree to resume negotiations, strikes to go on indefinitely. And here it says that meeting for the first time in more than 3 months, the Writers Guild and the AMPTP on Friday failed to reach an agreement to resume contract negotiations. Their inability to agree on terms for returning to the bargaining table comes after their much anticipated meeting to discuss a possible resumption of talks. And then it says, as of now, there's no agreement on these items because the AMPTP said that they need to consult with their member studios before moving forward. And I'm trying to see what was the actual reason. Right here.
What did they?
Is it AI? Is that what you're talking about, or
no? Well, with the writers thing, that like apparently they can't agree to like the minimum staffing and working
for the writers' room, right? Or is that what you're talking about? The writers' room.
This is so for people, because a lot of people aren't stressing this. So pre-streaming, we'll do some pop quiz with Eric. Pre-streaming, how long do you think a writer's hiring period was per year out of a 12-month calendar?
Do you mean like projects, like things they were put on
in like a writer's room? Yeah,
I would say anywhere from 4 to 6 months, probably.
It was about 9 months.
Okay.
And now you know what usually what the average is now?
Like 2 months.
3 months. It's like so full-time employment pretty much for a lot of these writers' rooms go from like 9 months down to 3 months. Like that's considered full-time.
Which means that end up with like a big gap of time where they're not working because they're committed to one thing for 3 months, which is a very short period of time.
Yeah. So that's why you'll see a lot of times you'll see people that work multiple writers' rooms or something like that.
And also, I want to remind people the reason why that's such a big deal is you talk about like filming season, like the time of year when a lot of shows film in certain parts of the world and stuff like that. You have to get locked into that well before the process begins, which means that if you're locked into a contract that's only 3 months long, you can't agree to do anything else. Once that 3 months is up, you have another 9 months of the year that you're not really doing anything, or at least 6 months, 5 to 6 months where you're not doing anything, unless you're working on a movie or independent project or something like that. So it's taking a job that used to be like, okay, I'm locked in for my year, I'm good, 9 months done, I don't have to worry about it until the next season comes around, to hustle work as a writer. You're back to hustle work again. You're back to like going around and asking for jobs here and there and everywhere. And it's an unsustainable career, which is the problem. They don't want to lose the ability to write as a career in Hollywood because the studios want to give more money to their executives. Because that's ultimately what this is about. That's ultimately what's about. You look at these companies, and even though you say they're failing, like Disney is losing so much money, no, they're not. No. They're giving bonuses to their executives and stuff. They're not paying the creative people to do these things. So if you think something isn't good, like take this in perspective. We've complained about the fact that they try to rush the VFX artists. They'll push them and push them and push them to get projects out on time. That would not be an issue if they were willing to pay people to actually work on these projects, because the problem is you have like a movie that could use like 10 artists, and you're trying to get that same amount of work out of 3 people because they don't want to pay the other people to come in and do the work. And that's a problem. And I do realize that we may disagree on how they handle this in terms of the strike, but at the end of the day, the shareholders, the CEOs, the board of directors, all of those people are making bonuses.
Yeah. Like that's the thing. Like when people point out like, oh, Disney's like, oh, they lose money here and here and stuff like that. It's like they're also one of the biggest brands in the world. Like just things lift each other. It's like how you can, one movie might not make a lot of money, but this one does, and or like people, or they cancel each other out in regards to profit and loss and everything like that. It's like even if you just like a business will have days where they lose money because like their operating cost for a day might be $2,000. They only make $1,500. Next day they make $5,000, and that covers for the next handful of things as well. And I mean, I saw the thing where they were saying like I think it might have just been SAG. I don't know if it was just SAG, but they were saying like they could last 6 months or something. I'm like, I think, and I saw people going, oh, the studios will definitely budge. I'm like, if we get things are already delayed to next year. I see the studios lasting up to like the end of next year minimum.
Let me tell you this. What we're gonna see, honestly, is like within the next, and I'm usually right about this. I don't mean to pat myself on the back, but I'm usually right about this.
Please don't pat yourself on the back. We don't need that. Don't stop it.
In the next,
that's not really a pat. That's like a prod. That's like someone's angry at you and poking you in the back. Anyway.
Yeah, don't fetish shame me. So
since what is prodding a fetish?
I don't know. I just made it up. Within the next, like, I guess 2 to 3 months, we're gonna see things that were greenlit canceled. Yeah,
that I think mainly comes down to TV and WGA. So, but the thing is that they have sort of saved their, like, they obviously already filled the back half of this year with like just repeated content, like pretty much all the networks and stuff like that. But it's like you're not going to see. I don't think you're going to see most shows fold over into the next calendar year. It's either they can't get episodes out by the middle of the year next year, like an actual considerable season, let's say 8 episodes minimum. You're probably going to see shows get cancelled. Network shows, streaming shows, like whatever streaming, like Stranger Things off the
they don't film on the same schedule that network shows film.
Yeah, so. But network shows are the one where you're probably going to see. I don't know if you see all of them go, but you definitely see like, especially like ones that just went through the pilot stage.
Yeah,
and maybe ones that were on edge or on the bubble and maybe got lucky and got a renewal.
Yeah. So far, that's the way it is. Also want to point out, somebody made this, I think it was Robert Hewitt Wolf here, says that Deadline, Variety, and The Hollywood Reporter are all owned by the Penske Company, which owns other subsidiaries which are members of the AMPTP. So I think he's saying that there's a possibility that some of the stories coming out may not be reflective of actual, what's actually happening, I guess, for the studios versus the writers. So keep that in mind from any of these articles. But that being said, here's another one strike related, and we got one more strike related thing, and then we're going to move on to some other stuff. David Zaslav, Warner Brothers Discovery, says strike saved it more than $100 million in Q2, but he hopes the negotiating resumes soon. What a fucking headline! What a fucking headline! He says it saves them money, but he hopes negotiating resumes soon. This is one of the scummiest things. Like, there's no way under the sun that these CEOs can believe that they're going to walk away from this without losing money at this point. Because if the writers and the actors are willing to put their feet in the sand for now, this is not $100 million is nothing. That's nothing for these companies.
No.
$100 million is a drop in the bucket for these companies. That's the cost of like a low level film for them. So
well, it's like, I don't know what cost like a Blue Beetle. Like Blue Beetle.
It's a Blue Beetle movie. It's one movie. So this headline is pathetic because this doesn't matter in the big scheme of things. $100 million in Hollywood? This is a flex? We saved more than 100 million, which means like 101. Means like 101 or like 100 million and 25 cents or something. Why would this even be a statement that he puts out?
Why wasn't it? Yeah, I guess in an investor meeting he sort of has to, but it's weird to sort of go, well, because of the strikes. Like, people are just saying that they have, like, I don't know, like, it was almost like a bit of a flex.
You know what that 100 million probably is? It's probably accommodations for people on set, like food services and things like that, or whatever.
It'd be like a plethora of like the Warner Brothers lot activity and stuff like that, where like catering, like hiring
electricity,
catering.
Like paying for power and stuff.
That goes into another thing. And I was watching an interview with, it was like this like I think he was a key group, I think, on projects. I don't know what he like. I think he just goes around. I don't know if he works with like a specific studio. And he was saying that he doesn't know how the crew members are gonna get through it, because they're sort of like they're getting relief from some of like similar foundations and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but it's
like lighting people and sound people,
crew people, which is majority of people on a set, unless it's like a big like Ben-Hur or something like that with like a bajillion extras or something like that. But like all the lighting, sound, visual people and stuff like that. Like,
yeah.
And I was also saw another thing where like talent agencies, management agencies, the actual production companies themselves, like let's say use Belanti Productions, for example, have started letting people go because it's like, well, we're not making anything. Like your job it's literally related to when stuff's being filmed.
Right.
Or when things are in development and nothing can.
And the other issue with this is a issue with unemployment in this country, because now you have like hundreds and thousands of people who are going to be on unemployment.
You're seeing mass employment in one of the most expensive cities in the world to live in.
Yeah.
Like,
which is going to affect surrounding businesses, because now you're going to see a lot of these restaurants and catering, restaurants, destinations. Like they can't even really do tours of the studios because there's no one there making anything.
Yeah.
Like
that's why I think it's like I'm just intrigued to see where it goes, because I think money doesn't grow on trees. Like, I know it's such an old saying, but like,
yeah,
it's just like when they said like they're just gonna like starve people out essentially.
Yeah,
like they weren't kidding. Like they are literally going to do that. Or they're going to cause infighting between the workers, because you'll get the crew people. I know it sounds crazy, but it has happened in the past in other situations with other like outside of like Hollywood, but like other union strikes with workers
fighting with each other about going back to work.
One group fights against the other, and then you have like an internal war within one side of a war, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
or an internal battle on one side of the war,
I also want to
which you
point out
don't want to
before-
happen because that'd be messy.
No, and I want to point out
And
before
I don't
we-
think it would happen because I think they'd want to show solidarity. But if it gets to like where people are like literally, where they're just a crew member, you know, a lighting person who can't afford anything, and they didn't have any say in whether the strike happened or not,
right.
like then obviously there'd be frustration.
And I want
there.
to, I would say, I want to point out that a lot of the people that do this would take side jobs like working at restaurants or working at bars or doing things like that. But you can't do that in a town where no one else is working, because then you're essentially just contributing.
Or
to
where
the
everyone's now fighting for those side jobs.
Yeah.
It'd be already
Pretty
hard to
much.
get a job as a waiter in LA already. So imagine when
Yeah.
like everyone's like, yeah.
Also, I will never support a 100% AI project right now. I will
No.
never do it. I'll never go and see
Because
it. I'll never click on any of those videos.
so
I
like
just won't
yeah,
do it.
because like a lot of people don't know what exactly they want with the AI and stuff like that. And some of it is like, to me, is a bit harmless because it still requires a professional writer, if not writers, to push it forward. But some of it is really like even like pitch rooms could be gone if they use AI. Like they could go, just give me an idea for a sci-fi movie, or give me an elevator pitch for a sci-fi movie, and then they give them this mess of whatever it is, and they go, well, writer or writers do this.
Yeah.
And to me, that might seem harmless, or to most, it might seem harmless, but it sort of like takes out a sector of, you know, the process or whatever it is, which would normally be what would now be an actual person that gets paid a living wage, or people that get paid a living wage. Like the AI script thing at the moment, no. If you read an AI script, it's arse. It's like, it's maybe like on like, you know, your first viewing, it might look fine, but like once you actually start reading it properly, like this is not cohesive at all. It doesn't sound like a real person wrote it. It doesn't have any like human emotions to it. It feels like it's like a very like, I am a robot talking. Because here's the thing, like it's a very like you could give us literally a breakdown of a story and like write a script around it. Eric would write it completely different to me because I would write it in my terminology or whatever it is. Eric would write it in his. There'd be a lot of chocking and twerking and stuff like that, and random dance scenes that break out in like this horror death comedy thing. Anyway, it's weird. Eric's script is very weird. What's it called? Choc to your drop?
The sequel.
Ah, it's a sequel. It's literally called Choc to your drop, the sequel. It's like
Even though it's the first one, right? Even though it's the first one. Yeah. So before we
it's the sequel, even though it's just the first movie.
Yeah.
Does that ever happen?
I don't know, but it would be fucking hilarious.
Hold on. Story idea. Whatever. Just call it the sequel. That was the first movie.
Why not? Okay, so let's move on to something more I don't know, I guess uplifting. So we got this video. This is a cameo. It's shared publicly because people are like, why are you sharing a public cameo? It was shared on Twitter. So here it is. I got the audio set up too, so you can hear it. But apparently someone paid for how much was this cameo, by the way, Paige? You said it was like $700.
In Australian, it's 750, which I think is about 500 American.
So someone paid like $500 for a Melissa Benoist cameo. Look, if you got the money, go for it. Anyway, she was asked about Supergirl. Let's just listen to this and you'll see what she says here. Make sure
I'm so happy to hear that you were a fan of the show and my character. I loved playing her, and that's so cool that you grew up watching the shows. They were really, really, really fun to work on, and who knows if I may put the suit on again. We'll see. I have one that I sneakily took when we ended this show. Don't tell anyone. This is a secret. A big one, actually. But yeah, I do have a suit in my attic, and I would love to play the character again. We'll see what happens.
Okay, so people are running with this. I've already seen websites going, she's going to play Supergirl again. This is literally just her responding to a fan on Cameo. This isn't a public statement. This isn't her announcing a project. This isn't anything like that. Paigey, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a fun cameo. Like, you know, someone asks, like, if someone asks, like, you know, obviously said, I love watching the show. Would you ever play Supergirl again? She's going to say no. She's not going to say, like, no. I mean, someone paid $700 or $500 American. Like, I'm sure she's going to give a pretty nice answer. So, like I'm sure she would, like, probably wouldn't mind doing it. Like, I've always believed that if Supergirl filmed in LA, she'd do up to season 27. And I think most of the actors would, to be completely honest, if the show kept getting renewed.
I mean, that's the reason why we lost Cat Grant, was because it moved from LA to Vancouver. So,
well, to be honest, I think that's why Supergirl ended. It wasn't meant to end in season 6, but
yeah,
she just, I guess it was over Vancouver. So, yeah, I mean, at least you can say like she's not resentful of it, but like,
well,
I wouldn't take this as any sort of.
This is a little weird to me because I was
happening.
under the impression ever since she got this production deal, that she wasn't really interested in being in anything else. So what this tells me is we may see her do something fan related as Supergirl, because I don't think she's going to play Supergirl in the movie, but I guarantee there's going to be clickbait videos saying that she's playing Supergirl in the movie, in the upcoming Woman of Tomorrow movie.
Is that a reference to the DC TV show, or is that?
Did he already make one? Did he already make one? I don't know if he did or not, but
I'm not checking.
Chat, would you want to see Supergirl return as with Melissa Benoist as Supergirl? I'm just curious. You know what? I'll be honest. I didn't like her in the beginning as Supergirl. The first season of Supergirl was like.
I can't remember too much. I just remember that I didn't like season 1 of Supergirl was like a rom-com sort of.
It was. It didn't work
thing.
for me. And matter of fact, I almost didn't watch. The only reason I even watched it is because I heard there was going to be a Flash crossover.
I think my one was I watched the leaked pilot of Supergirl. Remember when it leaked?
Mm-hmm.
Because this was back in the day when they used to send out the DVDs with the pilots and stuff like that. Now it's just to get screeners digitally. But the screeners used to be sent on like a Blu-ray or a DVD, and someone burnt it and it leaked online because of that. And that happened with Arrow and Flash. Oh, it happened with Flash as well, and I think something else as well. That's why I remember watching it. I don't think I watched any of Supergirl up until they started promoting the Flash crossover, and then I caught up on Supergirl. The Flash one leaked. The Supergirl one leaked. I have a feeling Gotham leaked. I don't know if the Constantine pilot leaked, but I remember that Arrow episode with Constantine in it leaked, and it didn't have the VFX in it. It was sort of funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I had no idea.
But now they don't send the screeners like on the DVD anymore, so I think it's easy to get caught. Like before, you didn't have like a watermark that showed up, but now because it's all digital and stuff, there's a watermark on each thing, so they can't really leak.
Yeah. I was trying to see if my local theater is already taking tickets for Blue Beetle, because I know that's a.
Well, they would be, wouldn't they?
Let me see. Let's see.
I can tell you who won't my one because it's not out for another 5 or 6 weeks. Or whatever it is.
That's true. That's true. Let's see. Show times. Let's go down here. So the thing about it is, did you ever find out why Blue Beetle was pushed back in Australia?
It might be because of school holidays, because school holidays start the week after it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. But then it's Australia and New Zealand. I think we're the only 2 countries where it's delayed till middle of September.
Oh, my theater.
What's this?
It's not even showing in my theater.
Honestly, do you think there's a possibility that when this comes out, Barbie, a movie that's going to be like a month old, makes more money in the opening weekend?
I mean, maybe. We're going to talk about Barbie in a minute.
What do you mean it's not even in there?
It's just not. Like, it's not on pre-sale yet. So... Anyway... Says James Gunn's DC reboot will bring back Blue Beetle on one condition, and this is coming from
one condition.
Yeah, one condition. I had the pleasure of getting to speak with Mr. Oh, this is actually from is it Zolo or Zaulo?
Isn't it Sholo?
Sholo. I've heard it pronounced different ways. So.
Sholo.
I've had the pleasure of getting to speak with Mr. James Gunn and the whole DC fam, and at the end of the day, I think first we have to cross the first hill, right, and introduce I-Me to the world. But I think it's up to the audience to watch the movie. It's up to everyone to show up for the movie. And it's a wonderful thing that we get to make this movie. And so if it does well, we'll get to open more doors for Blue Beetle. And not even just for the people up here, but there's got a whole thing set up. So many Beetles from so many comics to choose from. And really just a whole world where we're super appreciative of DC's took the first swing at the live action Latino superhero movie, so we're ready to do it again if the crowd wants it. So it sounds to me like the movie has to be a hit for it to come back, but this isn't a big surprise. I mean, not for me anyway.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't getting a sequel, man. Like, I think
I'm not even worried about a sequel. I just wonder, are we going to see this hero again?
I think it's going to be the case of, and I think it wouldn't shock me if Shazam's in the exact same position, because Zachary Levi and James Gunn are friends. So, like,
right.
I think you're going to get no more movies with them, like, you know, Blue Beetle 2, Shazam 3, whatever it is.
I also want to say this, that if Shazam comes back, it'll just be Zachary Levi. They will not do the transformation between Angel and Zach. It'll just be, or Billy and Shazam. It'll just be Shazam, right? Is that what you think?
I mean, Asher,
yes.
Yeah. Probably, yeah, if he's just showing up, unless it's like, yeah, and maybe he can just, like, yeah, they probably won't. And also because by the time they get around, like, with all the, you know, I mean, he'll
Asher will
like,
be a full-grown person by time. Yeah. Like, he's
because if we go by
if
we go by the logic of what happened to Mary, he should just end up looking like Billy.
Yeah.
Because once you turn 18,
however, they will probably not do that. It'll probably just be Zachary Levi.
It probably, yeah, and he'll just show up as Shazam.
Yeah.
That
I think let's be fair.
that
in
makes
Shazam
sense.
2, he was Shazam like 85% of the movie.
Yeah.
If not more. So I don't know. But I would love to see Blue Beetle return. Only because I think he's a perfect casting. But I think the movie has to bring, like, let's be honest here, the movie's not going to do well. I just want to get that out there. I don't want to break anybody's hearts, but looking at the way the cycle is going for this movie, like the interest in it, the internet engagement for it, things like that, it doesn't feel like this would have to be a massive sleeper hit for it to do well. And I just don't see that happening. What about you? Do you think there's any world where this movie ends up being like a big deal or no?
Oh, probably not. I mean, but you never know. You just never know. Like, because a lot of the numbers that are coming out are really domestic. So you have no idea what it's going to be like international. This could be like a Transformers thing where international bumps it up a lot, where it's like, oh, there's something there. But I just think it doesn't help when you still have like another Warner Brothers movie that's probably going to be rivaling it for the box office a month after it comes out.
Yeah.
But like, it's also one of those things where it's like, because here's the thing as well, a lot of people, like, I know there's a whole thing where, like, you know, people don't like going to the movies when it's too full. People don't like going when it's completely empty as well, for like maybe like an opening day or an opening weekend as well.
Yeah.
Like, you sort of want to be there for some sort of like show. Like, it feels like, you know, it's some sort of experience, if you want to put it. So yeah, I mean, it really makes you question whether, look, I remember when they moved this to theaters but kept Batgirl HBO Max, and I was like, I remember us talking about it at the time. I was like, shouldn't it be the other way around if they're only going to pick one? One's a Bat family thing with like Brendan Fraser and Michael Keaton, specifically Michael Keaton as Batman, who we knew they were going to put a lot of emphasis with the Flash movie advertising. So I remember at the time it felt weird that if they move both, fair enough, but moving one, you think they'd move Batgirl. So it makes you wonder whether maybe it should just stay on at the time HBO Max, but I don't know. We'll wait and see. Like, when does it come out? Next week?
Yeah, the 18th for me. So
oh no, so 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So not this coming. Okay, so not this coming week, the week after. We'll see. It'll be very interesting. Apparently, the movie's like decent, from what everyone's saying. But like, is it like decent, or is it like, oh, you have to go see it in theaters? Decent.
I don't think
there's
that's
a
the
difference.
case, but we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Barbie is closing in on 1 billion.
Yeah, not too
Is
much of a
anybody
surprise
shocked
there.
at this point? Is anyone shocked?
Well, those weird channels, whatever they're called, like the ones that think it's sexist or whatever it is.
The hater channels, yeah.
Yeah, I know
They're having
outrage channel. That's the word.
They're having a meltdown over this, by the way. They've actually shifted gears now. They've decided that instead of having a meltdown about Barbie making 1 billion, they're saying that Barbie's 1 billion is now destroying Disney. Is
there a Disney movie out that it's destroying?
No. They're just saying that Disney is upset that Barbie's
No.
making $1 billion, which I think is really funny because I think the studios have made it very clear that the people on the creative side don't like that type of they don't like people that do that kind of stuff, that like try to piece their projects against each other, because a lot of these people work across studios unless they have some sort of exclusivity deal with one of the companies. And Oppenheimer crosses 500 million, which is a massive success for Oppenheimer, for a rated R
big
movie.
one.
I would say
big.
so. Look, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that I think Oppenheimer's numbers are far more unexpected, because I thought Barbie was going to do $1 billion, or at least get close to $1 billion when they announced it. Oppenheimer, though, being a rated R movie, crossing 500 million.
R-rated 3 hours biopic.
Do you think this is going to be an awards bait movie? Do you think this is going to be up for like awards and stuff like that? Oppenheimer.
Well, no, I don't think it's an award bait movie. Like an award bait movie to me is something like The Whale or something like that, like where it's all, I don't know. There's probably another one that I'm trying to think of. Like, there's usually like a good amount, but I wouldn't say Oppenheimer is like. Oppenheimer, I think, has like an intention to be there outside of being there. Like, I think if Nolan didn't even win any awards with it, he'd probably be happy with the movie itself.
Right.
But it'll win awards. I'm sure it will. Like, I don't know about sound actually, because I couldn't hear half the dialogue. But anyway,
I believe that Barbie is like, after this weekend, it will have literally crossed $1 billion. At the end of this
I think it's that doesn't surprise me at all that would be the case.
However, the Meg 2 movie, 120 million is coming up on its budget. Like, it cost around 120 to make. But I've heard it's not very good. I haven't seen it yet, so
I mean, it's the first one wasn't very good. The first one was fucking stupid.
I've heard that a lot of people like the first one because it was kind of stupid, silly. You know what I mean?
But was this one just stupid?
Yes. Like, there's those movies you can go see, like, I don't know, that I don't want to say so bad they're good, because I don't think it was bad in the sense of like it was a bad movie. I think it was just a dumb movie. So I don't really know. But apparently this one isn't that good. However, you have to remember, movies like The Meg, like Pacific Rim, like those kinds of movies, they make the majority of their money internationally, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
like, they're mostly
the Meg is
films.
like isn't co-financed by like a Chinese company or something. So
probably.
Yeah. Well, I know the first one had like Chinese actors in it too. I had like a really big Chinese actress, I think it was, and they made a lot of money in China.
Yeah, I think you're right. Okay, so Staggervore, this is a topic that I wasn't going to talk about, but we'll add it in because I didn't realize there was an article on this. We'll talk about it. He did a $4.99 super chat. I'd love to bring it up on screen, but obviously,
StreamYard went no,
yeah,
not today.
I can still see it. So you know what, YouTube, if you listen in on my podcast, because I know you do, you love to watch myself and Paige talk over here. Add a way for us to just bring up super chats from the YouTube UI. That would make it so much easier to just allow us to like click the comment and pull it up on screen. Like, please, can you do that?
Pretty please help me.
Anyway, Staggervore here says there's an article and an interview with the current CW president. There's some interesting things mentioned. Have you read it? We have not, but I'm going to pull it up on screen. We'll kind of.
I think I saw something. It was like about like if shows are successful, they keep going or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's from the Hollywood Reporter. And it says the CW is adding Jesus in sports. What a combination!
What a headline!
But its top programmer says it's still the same network. It's not. It's. I mean, how? In what world is it the same network? It's literally not.
No.
I used to watch, probably between myself and my friends, we used to watch at least 4 or 5 shows on the CW every week, and now we're not watching anything.
I thought you were watching The Chosen.
No, definitely not. Brad Schwartz joins TV's Top 5 podcast to discuss why big studios like Riverdale or studio shows like Riverdale won't work as the network shifts its focus to become broader and older. Look, here's the deal. Shows like Riverdale did work on the CW in its older model. they don't work on the current CW because the current CW is broke. They don't have any money. It says here, Brad Swartz, who joined the CW as entertainment president 6 months ago, hasn't won over any diehard fans of the network after he canceled nearly all of its beloved scripted shows as part of a push by its new ownership station group Nexstar to make profit by 2025, which, by the way, I still don't think they're going to make a big profit. And I don't see that happening. Almost everything they put out has been a disaster. They haven't had any real big hits since then. But what Sports has done in a relatively short time has been to position the CW in a place where the network can age up its audience. Why does it have to age up the audience? I thought they said that the audience age. Oh, I love that picture. It's beautiful.
Is it accurate? I even draw the little A on your hat.
Yeah, I think it is.
Oh, I just realized you have no eyelids.
Yeah. But to age up their audience, Paige, do you remember when they said their primary audience was like 58? So if the audience is 58,
it was like, 58,
why are you trying to age up your audience? Reduce
well,
overhead
like,
and secure.
We want to age up to the grave. We're just that's the end goal.
We want our viewers to be dead. We want them to be literally dead.
We are trying to. We've seen the theories about the zombie apocalypse, and we're just trying to get ahead of the curve. Just
the CW's new tagline: "If you're dead, we're your network." I mean, clearly they've got a show about Jesus coming back to life. So I guess it is. It's the network of dead people, I suppose, at this point. It says here, reduce overhead, secure the key rights to make it profitable for the first time ever. To be clear, and this is another thing that a lot of the hater channels like to talk about, the way how the CW wasn't making money. It says, to be clear, the CW was never designed to make money as a network. I'm so glad we're bringing that back in 2023 because I have to fight that all the time. It was launched as a joint venture between CBS Studios and Warner Brothers TV in a bid to generate revenue for both studios through selling its programs internationally and to streamers. With shows like The Flash, Riverdale, Nancy Drew Dynasty, the CW delivered millions in profits to its ownership while creating a loyal audience of adults 18 to 34. And I want to point out one of the biggest and most lucrative deals, right, would be the one with Arrow and The Flash, which was that $1 billion deal they did back in 2016. As the streamer wars intensified, the CW's business model no longer made sense as CBS and Warner Brothers now needed to hold on to those same domestic streaming and international rights for Paramount Plus and Max, home of HBO. So we know they sold 75% stake at the CW. Let's see. Kind of breeze these questions. Shortly after taking the job at the end of the year, describe your approach to CW Scrappy since you steady flow of required scripted CDs. It doesn't want to work. To be fair, NBC has unaired new original US produced scripted series, and the stuff that you're talking about that is acquired content that aired elsewhere. Right. Our shows are original and never been seen here before. Well, they're not original then.
Yeah, it's like when Netflix, like that, when they got Titans, they call it a Netflix original when they have nothing to do with the actual production of it.
Yeah. By the way, the NBC shows is Transplant, which is from Canada, so it's not original. I really think that word is a mess. Like calling something an original, it gives the impression that you produced it.
Yeah,
and I think that's misleading for viewers.
But to be fair, movie studios do all something like A24 does it. Like they'll buy something and say, and everyone goes, "It's an A24 movie." I'm like A24 had like nothing to do with the production of this. They just bought the rights to it. So, but like you get it like across movies as well.
So Sullivan's Crossing is not a show that's produced by Nexstar. How are you benefiting from that, considering the CW has no involvement in the actual making of the show versus Superman and Lois, which is a show produced by Warner's that was licensed to the CW and executives like Mark Pedowitz were directly involved in the creative. He says here, we negotiated a deal where we got all rights domestically and where we became co-producers and creatively involved in the future seasons. We are now co-producers of that show. There's a second season and we're creatively involved in that. How? Didn't they dissolve that department? I didn't think they had that department anymore. I thought that they only had a reality TV department.
Yeah, like no, didn't they get that one person who was like handling the, I guess, no, it was they just get rid of like 5 people and give one person the job because
maybe
they weren't developing any. Yeah, but maybe because it's not they like strictly developing new shows, but it's more like for like ongoing shows that are already there, like a Superman and Lois, like a All American and Walker and whatever it is. Yeah,
when the first season hits, we're using Fremantle to help have the rights to sub-distribute that show. So should be successful. We have another way to monetize that content for all intents and purposes. There's no difference in us having started that show from scratch ourselves or having acquired it in the first season. The rights have now allowed us to monetize it in the same way. I mean, I get what he's saying, but that's not the case with everything they put on their platform.
Yeah.
The acquired shows cost the same. Why not greenlight more? Right. This is a good question. So if these acquired shows cost the same, why not greenlight more of the shows that were already successful in the CW for the same money, especially considering that 3 of the acquired shows you've launched have already been pulled from the schedule? Here we go. They were not profitable for us. We were paying more for those shows and not having the rights to monetize them in other places. So he's talking about stuff like Riverdale and Superman and Lois before.
No, I think he's talking about like that Zac Efron show.
Oh, you mean the newer stuff?
So he's talking about. I think he's talking about the ones that they acquired and got rid of. So like that surfing show and stuff like that.
For Sullivan's Crossing versus Superman and Lois, we just happened to have more rights. So he was talking about Superman and Lois. They did mean that. I don't understand how the CW is going to make money off of all of this stuff on their app, because the app is shit and it's not even international. So yeah. I don't know. We can have all the episodes on our streaming platform. When season 2 comes, we'll have all the episodes from season 1 and season 2 on our streaming platform in success. We'll be able to sub-license that to other places. We'll be able to launch CW fast channels on Roku and Pluto that will be able to operate like a business that wants to put CW content under a CW branded flag in many different places. And we never have those rights. Before, we couldn't start a CW fast channel and put Superman and Lois on it. But even the name CW is misleading now because it's not CBS and Warner Brothers. So I don't even understand anymore. Like, what does CW stand for anymore? Seriously, what does it mean?
Who knows, Eric? Oh no, hold on. What? Cheap work, like cheap. What could the W?
Oh, wait. Here we go, Paigey. The CW name comes specifically from a partnership with CBS and Warner Brothers, who continue to have a 12.5% stake. Have there been any conversations about a new name for the network? And if there haven't been, what would you tell people at this point the CW stands for? He goes, there have been no conversations about changing the name, which, by the way, that would be dumb because if you got rid of the IP, the only thing you paid for was the name at that point. We've had conversations about how we can make the CW more elastic. We're going to have 300 hours of sports on the air this year, and we had 0 hours of sports last year. Okay. In 2025, we're going to have 450 hours of sports with live sports 48 weekends a year. Holy shit. That is a drastic change in a very small amount of time, and you need to put a CW logo on that stuff that makes it feel like we're home for sports. Whether it's comedies or dramas or the young adult stuff that we still have, but you don't really. You've already made it clear that's not something you want. You just said you wanted to age up your network. This guy is all over the place. We need to make the CW feel like a brand that can handle all those different flavors of content. Maybe we redesign the network a little bit. Maybe we make the logo, the fonts, and the colors feel like we can wrap up this exciting new evolution of the brand. That's not what they're asking. They're not asking you about a new design of the CW logo. They're asking you, what does the CW mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. We're going to move away from this because it's just frustrating. Brad Schwartz is a company man. He is literally there to say yes to anything that the company wants him to say yes to.
Yeah. I've updated the artwork a bit.
Oh, did you? Oh, look, here we go.
Complete with a Dr. Pepper. And I added some eyebrows and eyelids for you just because you looked like too surprised.
There we go. Yeah.
There's no glasses. My glasses.
How did you forget that?
Well, I think it was maybe just like intentional ignorance. Yeah, that might have been why.
All right, so we've covered all the topics for today, really, but I'm going to talk about a couple things that are not really topic related, I guess.
Edgy. Hold on.
What?
Is everyone prepared for the edginess?
It's not really edgy. This is really a topic. I was just going to ask
you. Usually when you go off script, it ends up being Edge Fest.
No. What do you think about the possibility of Wonder Woman staying in the DCU? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know why people are blowing up now. It's like, it was meant to be a reboot. Have we just skipped the news when John Cena's staying, Amanda Waller's staying?
Yeah.
All the Peacemaker cast saying there's no word on Margot Robbie leaving as Harley Quinn. There's no word on Zachary Levi leaving as Shazam.
We don't know what's going to happen with Jason Momoa.
Blue Beetle is continuing. Like, it's just why? It's weird to me. Like, when did everyone start hating Gal Gadot?
Today, I don't know. I have no idea.
Like, it really, like,
I've seen some really bad takes, like, oh, she's awful, or we hate her in the role. Like, the only bad thing that Wonder Woman has been involved with was Wonder Woman 84, and that's, some people like it.
I like it. I think people misunderstand that movie, but anyway.
But I mean, like, if you look at the first Wonder Woman, a lot of people would say it's one of the best superhero movies in the DC universe, to be honest.
Well, the thing is that imagine the headlines where it says, like, we're replacing Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. Right. The general public likes her. Like, the general public. And it's also one of those things, it's easier to replace Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill as Batman and Superman because there's so many different takes on them.
Quindolin says Wonder Woman 84 is terrible. A lot of people are giving.
I respectfully disagree, Quindolin. I respectfully disagree.
I hate it.
But that's the thing with, like, you can easily get rid of them and recast because that's happened how many times in the past.
Yeah.
But with Wonder Woman, she is Wonder Woman to most people, if not, like, I would say like 95% of people, if not more. So that's a weird recast. However, what do you think? This is what I was thinking. Do you think when they do Wonder Woman 3 or whatever it's called, Wonder Woman, the sequel, didn't get that joke, Eric. God damn it. Hopeless today. Anyway, whenever they do, maybe they set up Wonder Girl or Nubia or whatever it is, whatever they want to set up. Because Wonder Woman 3 apparently, originally, with the Patty Jenkins and Jeff Johns script, set up Nubia.
Right.
That was the rumor. So, like, Nubia was going to be a equal character, but she would have been in that film. And then it would have set up for her to take over as Wonder Woman, or at least her to be in the universe.
And I know people don't want to look at the Flash movie as sort of having anything to do with this, but wasn't the point of the Flash movie to show that they can just keep certain things the same and make other things different? I mean, that was the point of the movie.
I think the issue with the Flash movies is that they just didn't make it clear enough. Like, especially when we end it, I think that's probably where there's...
I mean, maybe, but I mean, like, they had that whole discussion with Michael Keaton's Batman that sort of explained how time travel works.
Yeah, I think it's mainly how the movie ends and stuff like that, and like maybe and there was like because it'd be weird. Like, it's not usual you'd have a movie where your main character ends in a world where now we're not going to see them ever again. Like, that's a bit weird. Usually, it'd be for another character in that film, like Michael Keaton, for example. Or Ben Affleck's Batman, not the actual main character. So maybe that's where it gets a bit loose. I don't know if there's actually going to be anything that explains it. Maybe they could just sneak something in, like Creature Commandos or something, like something just randomly there.
Somebody said the Creature Commandos, I think it was Lance, said that they confirmed it'd be 7 episodes. Does that sound about right? I think Lance said
I can see that being 7 or 8, especially if it's like 40. Well, I probably wouldn't. Animation, you probably wouldn't make that long episodes, but
yeah. Staggervore had a $4.99 super chat. Wonder Woman 3 could end up being an Elseworlds film. Do you think that's the case? Do you think they could do it as an Elseworlds film, or no?
No, because then they wouldn't have canceled Patty Jenkins' movie. They just would have kept doing that.
Right.
Because the reason they didn't go with that movie was because it didn't fit in with their what they wanted to do. So I wonder
if it's even going to be Wonder Woman 3. It might be just a new beginning.
Well, I don't think it'd be called Wonder Woman 3. It might be called Wonder Woman Balls to the Wall or something. I don't know, something like that.
Whatever it might be. The sequel.
Wonder Woman the sequel. Wonder Woman 7. They might just go Wonder Woman 7, just be completely out of order.
That would really mess with. Well, she's been in like 5 other movies since Wonder Woman 84 now. She's
Wonder Woman, finally, not a cameo. Or something like
that. Yeah, so I don't know. I like Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I'm glad to hear they're going to continue on with her. Look, the reality is that Ben Affleck did not want to continue to be Batman. So there was no reality where that was going to happen. He just didn't want to do it anymore. I did see they said that his movie was going to be like, it was going to go through like 80 years of Batman's history or something.
I think it was going to involve like the 80 years of mythology or something, but I wasn't exactly sure what they meant by that. And it was also like something that no other Batman movies have done before. And that interview was done post the Batman from last year. So obviously,
right.
I'm not exactly sure what was meant by that, but yeah, it is what it is.
I don't know if I would have cared about that, to be honest. I am in Batman overload right now. Like, I hope Brave and the Bold really does something different with Batman and the Batman world.
I just want like overly comic book Batman. If you want to do like, if you want to make it different, make it overly comic booky Batman. Like give him a very comic booky suit.
So are you thinking more like the 1960s Batman, like that kind of Batman, or more like
just like actual comic booky Batman? Like make him fight like a big clayface goo monster. Make him fight like a big hulking Bane that isn't green, or tinged with green.
A Joker that has like a top hat or something like that, like something that's really
a Joker that uses like maybe I guess like maybe like the Jack Nicholson one got pretty close.
Was it you that said maybe I'm misremembering this, but I think when we look back at Gotham, this is going all the way back to the Gotham days or whatever, when they revealed their Joker with the melted face and the hair and everything. I can't remember if it was you that said this, but like someone brought up that they were just kind of frustrated that they keep going with like this mutated clown instead of just doing a clown Joker, like a funny clown Joker. Was it you that said that, or am I misremembering that?
It's probably me because I don't like the whole disfigured thing. Even
so you literally want a character that paints up as the Joker or whatever and does
like that's just his
thing.
persona. Like his persona is the Joker. Like that's just who he is.
So no
like
deformed face with like missing teeth or whatever, right?
Yeah, like no deformed face, no like I'm fine with it certain takes, but like let it be that take. Don't make that take like a base for future interpretations, but then you build upon that. So it's just like, okay, well, yeah, look at these scars or whatever, like, and then you, okay, well, now he's got a scar on his forehead that opens like a zipper. Like,
I'm gonna be honest, I would love just a translation of Mark Hamill's Joker from the animated series into live action.
Just make him a psycho that dresses up as a clown. Pretty much make it like
that's fucking scary.
Yeah,
that's fucking scary. Because like a mutated person, you're afraid of them from like them visually being like gross. But if it's just a normal person who's wearing like, makeup and doing scary stuff, that's scarier to me.
Like the thing you do with the Joker is that there's this guy that like, it's almost like it seems as a joke. Like, oh, is this guy dressing up as a clown? He shouldn't be this like very like, strong dude. He's just, but that's where the fear is built from, because he is this dude that people take as a joke before, and then it builds upon that. Now, whether you have the time and stuff is another question. Unless you just do a bit of a backstory in a movie. But like, I don't know, like I don't like the fact that like potentially the Joker in the Batman, the Matt Reeves one, is also deformed. I don't know, like got cuts and scars all over his face, or it looks like he's been like hit the head with a shovel or whatever.
Doesn't that take away from the concept of like a clown just being scary? Like when you have to go the extra mile and make them deformed, because some people, what is it called when somebody has a fear of clowns? I don't know what the term is. It's just like a
clown phobia. I don't know.
Yeah, is it clown phobia? I think you're making that up.
I'm just fear of clowns.
It's spreading misinformation on my
coulrophobia.
It's what?
Coulrophobia. Coulrophobia. COULRO phobia.
Okay.
Or the fear of clowns is a widely acknowledged phenomenon.
Okay, so Lucifer spelled it out for me. See, I believe him. I believe him. I don't believe you. So
well, that's weird because that's exactly what I fucking said, Eric. So how do you function from that?
Thank you, Lucifer and Cameron Smith, for clearing that up. So tell me who your favorite Joker is and why is it Jared Leto?
Hold on, I think I threw away that photo of you. Actually, that might be good. It was the disgusting photo I had to throw away.
If you had to pick all the Jokers we've had over the years, which one do you think is the one that you have the most like positive reception to? Like, who's the GOAT for you in terms of Joker?
I think in regards to like Joker, I think Jack Nicholson. In regards to like a performance as the Joker, I think it's Heath Ledger.
Okay.
In regards to time on screen, but in regards to Joker, I think it's Jack Nicholson.
Right, and then right above that is Jared Leto. Right, that's the one that's like,
and then right above this is a message for you. So yeah.
Speaking of, which version of Jared Leto did you like better? The one from the Suicide Squad or the one that we got in the Snyder Cut?
The Snyder Cut one was the worst interpretation of the Joker I've ever seen in the world. That was fucking awful. The fact that people even try and hype up that Snyder Cut version of Joker is hilarious. He offered, was it a reach around? Was it a...
Yeah. I didn't understand that one. I didn't get that Joker at all.
The only cool thing about that Joker was all the police badges that he had in the suit, which you see on screen for like 2 seconds. It's hardly there. And well, it's weird how Jared Leto keeps getting work. I must say, after Morbius and that, he's doing the Tron movie for Disney as well.
That's true. I forgot about that. That
started filming as well. I think it's still filming even without actors.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because the thing is, a lot of those productions were still filming. They just weren't using SAG people. It might have eventually stopped filming now.
So, how do you feel about this? What is this?
Oh God, what's this? Oh God. Do you remember when this first hit the internet?
You got beef. You got beef.
Do you remember when this first hit the internet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not a fan of this one?
I
like this better than the one in the Snyder cut. This was still better than the one in the Snyder cut.
My biggest issue was definitely the damage on the forehead. Like, that's just stupid.
You don't like
and I think the I think the ha tattoos are maybe a bit too much. I didn't mind the grills because it sort of makes sense that like his teeth would have been smashed in.
You know what this to me feels like? This feels like a Joker that's like one of those island boys on TikTok. You know what I'm talking about? Like the island boys with like the locks or whatever and all the tattoos.
Does Joker kiss his brother?
Oh. Maybe. Does he have a brother? Wait, does the Joker have a family? I know there's more than one Joker, but is there like a Joker brother of Joker or something like that?
Joker brother.
Joker brothers? I don't know.
Well, isn't there two Jokers in a deck of cards?
That's true. That is true. Is that a confirmation? Have we just proved something by doing that there?
I don't know.
Look. I know you don't like it. I don't necessarily like the damage tattoo on the head. But I like this updated look for the Joker. I like the idea of him being like this modern gangster guy. Like I did like that. I didn't get the performance though. Like when Common was there and they were sitting in the club together and that whole dialogue. And keep in mind, Jared Leto said that he trained, like this was a method acting performance. So, look, I didn't mind Jared Leto in Blade Runner 2049. I thought he did fine in that role. Did you see that when he played I think it was a blind guy. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I can't remember. I know. Yeah.
I thought he was fine in that. And I didn't mind him in Dallas Buyers Club. By the way, he was in that, what was that Lady Gaga movie that came out? What was the title of it?
House of Gucci.
Yes, he was great in that. Matter of fact, he was the only thing in that movie that I enjoyed because he was so fucking over the top that I actually thought it was campy. And I like that. I think that should have been what he did for the Joker, to be completely honest, because it was that funny when he was playing that character. But did we like the first Suicide Squad? I liked the first Suicide Squad, but it was messy. It was a messy movie.
I like the opening, like 20 or 30 minutes of Suicide Squad, and then it becomes really boring.
There was a lot of issues with that movie, obviously. But I will say I love the second one much more. Like the second one is like one of my top favorite superhero movies. I just think it was a better film. But also David Ayer is so confusing. We don't know if that is his version or if it's not his version, or because he at one point he said there is no director's cut. This is the only version of the movie that exists. And then he went back like a year later, was like, no, they fucked with my vision. They screwed it up and they changed.
Have you seen the leaked script things of like of what was in his cut? You realize that maybe it was good that we didn't see the original version.
Like what? Give me a highlight of something that was supposed to happen. Is it as bad as making the ancient gods Kryptonians? Because I know that was pretty bad when Snyder said that.
That was, but even like the thing where like apparently like it was meant to be like parademons were meant to be in the movie, and and like the mother box was meant to be
in the Suicide Squad movie. Yeah,
the first Suicide Squad. Parademons were meant to be there, and like the mother box was what was involved with Enchantress or whatever it is. But then they got taken out. But that wasn't because of necessarily anyone. That was just like interfering there, is because it wouldn't have played exactly how they wanted it to play into like Justice League.
Look, do you give David any sort of leniency because the script had to be written in like a month or something? I think it was like a month.
Yeah. I think it was 6 weeks. Which you might think, 6 weeks is a lot of time, not to write a feature.
Like a month and a half. It's like,
and then it was like 6 weeks to do that, and then like prep filming and everything.
Yeah.
Nowhere near enough time.
What's your favorite David Ayer movie? I bet it's probably the same as mine.
That he directed?
Yeah.
Fury.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that. I would agree with that. I think that was a great movie.
What's yours?
No, I mean I agree with that one. I think that's fine.
Okay, I thought you had an option. You were surprised by
no.
my
I mean he's just done a lot of stuff. You know, he's got the stuff he did with Denzel Washington, which I thought was really good as well.
Well, he didn't direct that. He wrote that.
No, I know, but I thought about that when you said direct. I would agree with you then that Fury is the best one. But I did like the work he did with Denzel in that movie, and so
I didn't like that weird elf movie or whatever it was with
Will Smith.
And the
What
blind
was
was
the name
it Bright?
Bright. I think it was Bright. It was just Bright.
I was gonna say blind, but that doesn't make any sense.
That was the world. I'm trying to remember. That's the movie where like
there's like mystical creatures and they're like
actual that existed in the real world. They're like
really
weird.
gangs, but each gang was a different like mystical creature, and everyone called it racist.
Yeah, that was a weird movie. And they're supposed to get a sequel for it, but apparently it's not going to happen now.
Didn't they get canceled because of COVID?
I don't remember.
I think
have
it was.
No clue. I just know that it's not happening. And look, that movie, actually, the first half of that movie, I was like, this is kind of cool. And then I was bored.
It gets boring.
Yeah. It doesn't do much with it after a certain point, anyway. Anyway, Sean Holmes says, Warner Brothers should make Reeves Batman and Joaquin's Joker part of Gunn's DC. I don't think so.
No, I think you're better off keeping it. I don't really want that type of Batman in the thing. Like it's just another like overly realistic one. I'd rather them do, let Reeves do that, and Reeves can build out his own universe within that. Like he can do the Penguin show and stuff like that.
I mean, they're kind of already doing that anyway. They've talked about a Catwoman thing and other stuff. So, I'm good with that. The only issue that I have is when you have your own separate universe, there's so much time between projects, which is why I think they wanted that Penguin show to already be out. I honestly feel like they wanted that show to already be on HBO at this point. I don't remember what the actual release date was. Did it get pushed back at some point? Was it ever pushed back or no?
What?
The Penguin show.
I don't think so. I think it's just delayed because of it didn't finish filming before the strikes.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's not a surprise, because I feel like that thing was filming for 24 years.
24 years, really? Okay, so a couple things. On Thursday, we were supposed to do our Rush Hour movie review, but I was delayed on getting everything together and I hadn't promoted it. So I was like, we're just not going to do it. We're going to push it back. So it'll be this week. So we're not going to do any questions for that right now. So that'll be this week, but I'll put a promotion up for it on the community tab, which by the way, I'm posting a lot more on the community tab because I'm not really posting on Twitter. So if you want to keep up with anything that's going on with the channel, most likely it's going to be posted on the community tab. Like if I'm going to go live on Twitch or if there's something coming up, check the community tab. And if you're a Team Airrick member, there's posts specifically for you during the week as well. So make sure you check those. There's going to be a members only stream this week. I haven't decided what day it's going to be, but it's going to be for Team Airrick members to chat on. Everybody will be able to watch, but Team Airrick members will be able to chat on it. And I'm looking into Patreon. And the reason why is because now apparently you can follow Patreon stuff for free. Did you see that? Like you can have free patrons now on Patreon. Like you can do like content on there for free along with the paid content.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking into it. I don't know how it's going to work. We'll see. Because I feel like this is my picture. I feel like they're offering a few different things over there that I'm kind of interested in for like reacting. Because a lot of people want me to do reaction stuff. But the reality is here on YouTube, that's not really an option. Reacting to stuff on YouTube is so difficult. I don't even want to get into that. So I might test it out over on Patreon. I don't know. We'll see. A lot of people, honestly, in the chat, does anybody follow anybody on Patreon right now? We've got like, 100 and some people in the chat right now. Yeah, we've got over 100 people in the chat. Does anybody right now in the chat have any content creators that you're supporting on Patreon? I'm just kind of curious if people are still interested in doing that or if it's something that people aren't really interested in. Not right now. No. Okay.
I think Patreon's really just for people like that, like reactions. So I think you have to really listen.
Well, I was trying to find a place
to
put my feet pics. Like I was trying to like feet pictures and things like that.
What about the chaps? That's
I
the
don't
big
know.
question.
That might be too hot to handle for Patreon. I don't know. Married to the Real. So they're doing their reactions, Cameron. That's where they're doing their reactions now instead of YouTube. I'm just curious because I know a lot of reactors are doing Patreon because you can actually upload content directly to Patreon. I believe. Think so. I don't know. What are you laughing about now?
Nothing.
Too hot to handle. Yeah, no, you'll never get that from me. Actually, it's really funny because I've had several people ask about the OnlyFans post on my link tree, and I'm like, it's a joke. Like, there's nothing on there. I claimed it because a certain someone who is not present right now thought it would be funny to make an OnlyFans with my name and your name on it. So I had to go claim my account so that people would not take it. What is this? That's me. I'm the friend. I'm the one that happens to all the time. It's actually become so bad that I have to do a nut check before I even go into a
nut check.
I have to do a nut check to make sure I'm not doing anything illegal.
Hold on.
What?
Nut check. I'm just making sure that's
also.
Hold on.
You are
nut check. Here's what a nut. So Eric just said he has to do a nut check.
Is this from one of those shady like dictionaries online? Or
yes, there's an actual definition for a nut check.
All right, read out what it is. I'm just go ahead.
Okay, hold on. There's actually two definitions, I think.
They're both awful.
Oh no, here we go. A nut check is where you walk to someone and yell out "nut check" and punch their nuts. And if they take it like a man, they're a true gamer.
That sounds like assault, but okay, let's go ahead.
Here's the question, though. Are you a true gamer? I have to test nut check. We'll have to
not if it has anything to do with punching me in the nuts. No, the answer to that is no, I'm not. I guess.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, Maddie, like a man. Because I mean, like obviously that's how you want to punch someone in the nuts, like a man.
No, like a true gamer.
No, but is there something in there said like a man, right?
Yeah, if they take it like a man, then they're a true gamer.
Take it like a man, right. Yeah. Sean says, considering how badly Warner Brothers Flash movie bombed, plus the stupidity to have the actor George Clooney in the movie, makes me think Robert Pattinson Batman should be a DCU. Well, we don't know what the vibe of the DCU is going to be, though. If the vibe of the DCU is going to be more light and comic booky, then I think that the Batman in Matt Reeves' universe won't work. I just don't think it'll work. Yeah. You can't plop in like a dark and brooding character in the middle of a like super colorful cartoon world. It's gonna piss people off from both sides. What are you laughing about now?
Just nut check.
You brought the meme up, not me.
No, I didn't say nut check at all. I did not say nut check until you did. Yeah, I brought up a meme
because the meme was targeting me. I felt very attacked.
I brought up a meme for some internal discussion.
I felt like you were attacking me personally with that meme. So I had to respond.
What is it? Oh my god. Yeah, Maddie, make sure you do nut check after this stream. Always nut check. Never go home. Never leave the house without a nut check. That's
nut check merch coming next week. Watch for the t-shirts. Yeah. They'll be below the video. You can order them from the shop.
God, Twitch D's nuts
and nut check.
What's with nuts?
I don't know. I feel like there's a trend. Maybe we should trademark it. Too funny. I completely forgot what I was going to say. Oh, if you're a Team Airrick member and you've missed any of the older Twitch streams, they go up on YouTube. You'll get one of them a week from like a previous Twitch broadcast.
Off from Twitch, okay.
Yeah, because what happens is after 30 days, they delete them. Yeah. So what I'm doing is I'm downloading them from Twitch. So if you haven't had a chance to watch them, or if you're somebody over here on YouTube that does not watch the Twitch streams, if you sign up to become a Team Airrick member, you can watch the Twitch streams that are uploaded every week. So that's available for Team Airrick members. What are you laughing about now? What the fuck is funny now? Serenity says, gotta call my homie to come over for a nut check. DJ NutCheck. Who would name their daughter Macadamia? A couple of nuts.
The one that broke me was Melinda who said DJ NutCheck. And then
Hashtag all homo. All homo.
Oh. Oh, I'm done. Oh, it hurts.
Okay.
Oh,
There we go. I stumbled over a box of these nuts. There we go. Yeah.
oh, that's hilarious.
Anyway, look, this is exactly why COVID era after parties went so wild. Because the lack of actual real news, like we're not going to report on fake Fantastic Forecastings. We're going to talk about NutCheck.
NutCheck.
That's what we do. That's what we do over here. Like a true gamer. Exactly. Like a true gamer.
Oh my god. Going into the stream, I didn't think we were talking about NutCheck.
Who knew we would end up here by the end of the stream? Who knew this is where
Started
we're
with-
wrapping up the story?
Started with the SAG and WGX strikes, ended with NutCheck.
Yeah, there we go. I think it's a good place. Obama said his Smash Bros main is Captain Falcon. Thoughts? What? That's so random. Oh, people are getting mad about Sue Storm possibly being the lead of the team. I guess they've never read comics in their entire life. Invisible Woman has been the lead of the Fantastic Four many, many, many times in the past. But, you know, I guess got to get the rage clicks in. Anyway, all right, we're out of here. I think we've exhausted everything with the nut check. So make sure you check your nuts as often as possible. And we'll see everyone next time. Have a good night. Goodbye.